Hi there, it's Nicole here for Spellbinders with a video featuring the new Glimmer hot foil system and also the Glimmer plates used to make some holiday cards. And we're going to be creating this warm winter wishes and ho 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 cards today. Let's start with unboxing the Glimmer hot foil system. It comes in this beautifully packaged box. There are some examples, and then the back of the box shows what all comes in it, and kind of the front of the box also has a few samples. So I'm just going to open it up and take everything out and show you exactly what all you get with this system. It is made to work with your Spellbinders Platinum or Platinum 6 die cutting machines. It will also work with many other machines out there. I can't tell you exactly what all. I know for sure it does not work with the Cuttlebug, but I believe it works with the Big Shot and some of the other popular die cutting machines. So there's an instruction book included. This is the platform connector, or the kind of, I guess, the platform. It also comes with rose gold and silver foil. The power cord. A big point about this is that the power cord is going to come for wherever you might be in the world. So I know there is a European version. This is the USA version, so keep that in mind. There are also a couple of Glimmer plates included in this. You're going to get the frame and the best wishes. We're also getting the acrylic spacer shim and the thin shim, and then the silicone cooling pad, which you can put your hot Glimmer plates on to cool. And also some tweezers, which have a little magnetic magnet, I guess, in the tip of them, which makes it really easy to pick up your dies off of the Glimmer base and off of that platform, I guess I want to say. And then this is the base. This is what our platform connects to. So it's how you're going to heat this up. The platform runs through your die cutting machine. So let's start by taking our base and plugging in this end to the base, and then we're going to plug the other end into the wall. And then you can see there is an on-off switch on the back of the machine. And we want to start heating up our platform, because this is how the foiling system works. So I'm going to grab my base, I'm going to grab the platform, and there is a power button here that shows you that the machine is powered up. Then there is the platform ready light. That's going to tell you that the platform is warm. So we want to plug that, push that all the way in so it connects into the base connector. When the platform ready light comes on and is green, we can put our Glimmer plate on, add our foil, our paper, and then of course our shim and our acrylic spacer, and run, and then we'll push the timer button, and that's going to let you know that you're ready to run it through your die cutting machine. So here's a look at some other Glimmer plates. I've got some really beautiful flowers here. These are the foil flowers. The text background I just shared with you. So these also have some coordinating dies with them. Here is a Make Today Count greeting. Some of the Glimmer plates have coordinating dies, some do not. I'm going to be using this Warm Winter Wishes Snowman. It does not have a coordinating die. The Ho 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 Glimmer plate has the glimmer plate and the coordinating die. So let's get started with the first card, and this is one that does not have a coordinating die, and we're going to create a single panel here for a very clean and simple design. You will see that the power or the platform ready light is on. I'm going to take my glimmer plate, this is the Warm Winter Wishes glimmer plate, and we're going to place this on the platform. The gray area on the platform is the hot surface. It is not hot enough that it should burn you, but it does get really warm. So this is one of the reasons those tweezers come in super handy. I'm going to lay this down. I just kind of put mine in the center. I find it easier to have a bigger piece of paper than what I'm actually going to use and then trim it down afterwards. Now what I really should have done is probably lined up this snowman with my foil first before putting it down on the plate. One big thing about working with the foil is that it works better if you trim the foil close to the shape so you don't have a lot of excess foiling. Excess foiling is a lot easier to handle than not enough foiling, however, and it's pretty easy to remove from your paper or your project, but I think it's easier to just kind of trim it around the shape to start with. Then you lay the shiny side down, and next comes your paper. I'm going to use a soft navy cardstock, the shim, and the acrylic spacer. We're going to have the timer button. We're going to let that heat up all the way. When that timer button is solid green, it is time to run this through the die cutting machine. So you're going to pull it out of the base connector. And my die cutting machine is kind of over here off to the right. It simply runs through. Make sure you remove your base plate and acrylic pads from your machine. Run it through your die cutting machine, just like you would if you were using the base plate. Then you can pull this up, pull the foiling off, and look at the beautiful foiled design. Isn't that fun? So then I'm going to remove my glimmer plate and lay it on the cooling rack. I used the tweezers for that. Now you'll see that there's a little over foiling up near the top especially. I think it's easiest to remove with an eraser. You could also use a kind of stiff bristled brush. That one really wasn't quite stiff enough to do this, but with an eraser it's going to very easily remove any little foils that got where you did not want them to go. So I like the Tombow Mono Eraser. I'm just kind of carefully going, if I see any little spots here or there, and removing those to have a really clean background. And look at that beautiful Warm Winter Wishes snowman and snowflakes. So pretty, really elegant, and so quick. Now I'm going to take a Nestabilities fancy edged rectangle die and die cut this into a shape. This die is not A2 sized, or even doesn't fit an A2 sized card very well. And I'm going to show you what I like to do in the finished card so that it fills the whole card front. But I'm going to run this through my machine. I'll die cut another rectangle and use just the top and bottom to fill in the top and the bottom areas of the front of a card. But this is the focal point. So now that I have my snowman, I want to dress up the foiled images with very simple, very easy embellishments. We're going to use some Nuvo crystal drops in gloss white and also white blizzard. So I'm going to start with gloss white and add it to the center of some of the snowflakes, and also add some snowflakes kind of around the image to fill in. Nuvo crystal drops are one of my go-tos for a quick and easy embellishment for almost any kind of card. In this case, it really adds to that falling snow feel of the design. Where the sentiment is in the foiled design with Warm Winter Wishes, you really wouldn't have to add extra sentiments if you didn't want to, but I always kind of like the addition of a more typeface type of font with a scripty one. So while the snowman features warm winter wishes, we are going to add a little sentiment strip below this that will coordinate back to the card really nicely. So I'm going to set this aside to completely dry once I have this filled with my Nuvo crystal drops. I kind of smeared one a little bit, so I used a craft knife to clean that up and fix it. Now, anywhere I didn't add gloss white, I am going to use White Blizzard, which is going to be a sparkly iridescent finish. So when this dries, it's not going to have that milky finish it has now. It's going to be completely clear but have some sparkle. And I adorned a couple of the other snowflakes with this. And then I am going to let it dry, and then you can see the finished card here. There's additional rectangle pieces at the top and the bottom, and then that little sentiment strip below that says "Just for you." The next card features the Ho 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 sentiment. This is the Ho 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 Glimmer plate, and I'm using the November Small Die of the Month Club Kit die to embellish this greeting. This is a glimmer plate that has the glimmer plate plus the coordinating die, so it's going to die cut the foiled shape. Now, before I get to putting my glimmer plate on my platform here, I'm actually going to cut around this with my scissors so that I hopefully don't have so much excess foiling. I did do this on a dark gray cardstock. In the finished example, I did this on white. I'm going to save this gray cardstock, Ho Ho Ho, for another project. But it's the exact same process. I did this for the finished card example I just showed you as well. Again, this is the red glimmer foil. We're going to put it on our base plate, add the foil shiny side down, then our cardstock, our shim, and then the acrylic spacer. We're going to hit the timer button, and when that is done blinking and it's a solid green, we can take that over to our die cutting machine and run it through. And that is going to foil this beautiful Ho 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 design onto the gray cardstock. So I'm going to pull this out of the base, move it over to my platinum die cutting machine, roll this through. Let's bring it back over, and I'm going to remove the shims and the spacer, lay the die off on to the silicone cooling pad so it can cool off. I removed the foil from Ho 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 and then ran it through the die cutting machine with the coordinating die, and it die cuts around the shape beautifully. So that's what it looks like on a dark cardstock. I wanted to show how it looks on white as well. So here I did the same thing that I just did, but this time on white cardstock. This is Nina 110-pound smooth white cardstock. I'm putting foam adhesive on the back of this. And then my background was created here. I did a buffalo check background. This is Lawn Fawn chili powder cardstock with the Simon Says stamp gingham background stamp in black over it. And then we're popping up the beautiful foiled Ho Ho Ho. And this deer is from the Spellbinders November Small Die of the Month Club. So fantastic little deer. Now, because I popped up the Ho Ho Ho, I'm going to have to pop up part of the deer. And we're paper piecing him. Instead of trying to figure out a glue and all of that, I'm actually using some thin foam adhesive strips and foam adhesive squares on the back of this to hold the majority of my deer together. So it's kind of a way to adhere these little inside pieces and hold the whole thing together. It actually went together pretty quick. Anywhere the deer is overlapping, ho ho ho, I'm not putting foam adhesive, and I'll use a regular liquid adhesive behind that, which you will see here in a second when I add things like the bow around the deer's neck, the antlers, the inside of the nose, the insides of the ears. I use several shades of cardstock to assemble and paper piece this deer. The outline is ground coffee cardstock from Lawn Fawn. The deer itself is paper bag cardstock from Lawn Fawn. And then the tail is vanilla malt. And the antlers will be that same color, as well as the cute little spots on the back of the deer, which you will see here in a second. We're going to glue those down in place. I want to make sure that I have enough foam adhesive to hold together the parts of the deer that are not overlapping the sentiment. And then we're going to just pop him down in place, take some liquid adhesive, and we're going to add in the nose, which is going to be red, the insides of the ears, which are going to be pink. I put a little bit of liquid adhesive back behind the head, maybe a little bit more than a little since it squeezed out, and I'm going to have to wipe some of that away. There's the little red nose. And we're simply inlaying all the rest of the pieces here. For the bow, this is also part of the November Small Die of the Month Club kit. The outline is from Chili Pepper cardstock, and then the inside for a tone-on-tone bow is the Lawn Fawn Holiday Sparkle Red Glitter cardstock for that little touch of glitter around the deer's neck. And I like to use the tool-in-one to help move those little pieces that I'm trying to put together in place. And I'm going to use it to kind of pierce through, and hopefully some of those pieces will pop out. But liquid adhesive is really, for me, the easiest for this part of the assembly. So we're almost finished. We've got the little spots on the back. There is a separate die for that, so you can easily just pop these down here. I'm using the tip of my tool-in-one to pick them up and put them where I need them to go. It adds so much detail to this cute reindeer. The antlers are going to be popped underneath the top up here. I'm going to finish with a greeting just like I did for the last card from the Simon Says Stamp Tiny Words Christmas stamp set. And here's another look at the finished card. So I used the Nestabilities Fancy Edged Rectangles and then the Warm Winter Wishes Glimmer plate for my first card. And I used the Ho 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 Glimmer plate for my foiled sentiment on this card, and the November Small Die of the Month reindeer to adorn and finish off this card design. And here's a look at those dies you get in the Small Die of the Month Club kit. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these 2 holiday cards featuring the new Glimmer Hot Foil system from Spellbinders. The supplies I used to complete my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Spellbinders that you might be interested in. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.